Hey everyone, Bill McRea here. We are about a minute early, which is good. Better than being late, I guess. And here comes the dog. He wants to say hello, but she, hello, baby. They usually start barking during one of these live streams, so do not be surprised. There's a lot for me to share with you guys today. I'm going to kind of take it back to basics, and we're going to go to more or less like Internet Marketing 101 type of presentation that I have for you today. But before that, I do that. Um, I just want to let you know that I'm doing it again with Notebook LM. I'm really addicted to that tool. When it comes to IM tools, being able to do research and take that research and organize it into a comprehensive thought and then prepare presentations, it really is the best tool out there. Now, if you just have it search for the tools, and I'll admit that's what I did today, you get what you get. But if you have your own sources, your own content, you can upload that as the content, and then it'll present really relative content from your sources. So, for example, I wanted to do a lesson on how to write copy like Michael Williams, who's been my copywriter for 16 years. He hasn't done any copy for me, I'll be honest with you, since 2020. So I used it from 2010 to 2020. And we made millions of dollars together. It was a great partnership. Things change, life goes on. He's Jewish, and he's very orthodox, so he's a rabbi now. And I think that's awesome. I'm like, teach me the Old Testament. And he knows I'm like as Christian as you can get. So we were like, a rabbi and a minister go to a bar sort of joke. Neither one of us drink. So it was a great relationship. And it just goes to show people are great. Doesn't matter what their background is at all. But I could upload like copies of Mike's sales copy and then use something like Notebook LM to create a presentation on effective copywriting based on his style, specifically what he does in his copy. And he's a little over the top. When you go to my sales letters that I write, they're going to be, well, this product does this, this, and this, and the benefit is that. That's not how he writes. He writes more like classic copywriters like John Carlton and Mike Filsaime, Frank Kern, and some of these really highly effective internet marketing style copywriters. That's what Mike's style was, but it was storytelling and kind of way over the top. It was like you're reading. I told you she would bark. You're reading fiction, not features and benefits. I'm going to shut the door. You should see her look at me like, but Dad, I didn't mean to do that. Yes, you did. I'm expecting a shipment to come from UPS today, so 9 times out of 10, that's what they're barking at, is something being delivered. But anyhow, you can use Notebook LM to create your own custom training presentations from your own custom content. So my daughter was a teacher. I was showing it to her and it says, you got all these resources at school, right? You've got lectures and books and slide projections and PowerPoints. You can upload that content in there and then create a customized presentation to share with your students. It's not cheating, it's just being more efficient. Um, Everyone's concerned that AI is going to replace their job. Well, it's not. It's just like the cotton gin. They used to think that all those people were going to lose their job, or the spinning wheel, or make yarn, or you name it. There was always something going to replace all the jobs. The manufacturing, the Ford model, system of manufacturing took less people to make a car. So those guys that were making cars manually were all going to be out of job. No, it actually generated more employment. And that's what we're going to find out about AI. So it does a couple of things. If you use a business, if you have a business and you use it effectively, it's going to reduce your cost of goods down to practically nothing. That's what Elon Musk is betting on. He's saying, well, someday, we'll get paid by the government because the efficiency is created by using AI and robots. Everyone's freaked out that it's going to be replaced by a robot. Yeah, maybe they are. But maybe the cost of goods come down so much on goods and services because you don't have to hire labor. So you have Optimus picking corn or strawberries or cooking your dinner. And it costs a fraction of what a human costs to have that robot. It really does. I've employed a lot of people. I paid them, between $15,000 and $100,000 a year. Every year, I could buy a robot for $30,000 and have it for 5 years. That's 1/5 the total cost of having an employee. So, and the job gets done right. It's just going to happen. But as a result of that, your labor costs are going to disappear. So that makes manufacturing in the United States very viable again, right? Because we're using the robots. And we can outcompete the Chinese who still hire labor. Well, they got a lot of bots too. They're going to have a problem on their hands as well. But they're very, very smart. They'll figure it out. At the end of the day, cost of goods are going to drop. So things are going to there's your deflation. So deflation, the economy is based on scarcity to begin with. All of them are. But if you bring the cost of goods down to nothing, and you have trade with the rest of the world, the amount of profits that are going to be generated are staggering. And so they'll have to figure out how to divvy that up to pay people. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. But anyway, AI is a really good thing, and so are the robots. And so are the Tesla Cybercabs. I told my ex-wife, I said, I'm going to buy one because I could park it in the garage or in the driveway. And if I'm not using it, I can click a button and it will join the Cybercab network, and it'll go out and drive people around town, and I'll make money on it. Well, you can't make much. I said, yeah, if you run it properly, you make about $1,000 a month net on a vehicle. So maybe I should go buy 100,000 vehicles, or 1,000 vehicles, or 100. People are doing that because I don't know why. I don't need to have a car and car insurance and all that stuff for me. In my, it'll probably be 70 by the time this is really running. I just want to get in the car and go somewhere. So just hop in my electric car and have it drive me there without having to deal with anything. I can be reading and working and planning things. I don't necessarily get a thrill out of driving. Now, I know when I was a kid in the 70s, and, I got my first Camaro. I thought driving was like, but now it's just a means to an end to me. I do not care what my car looks like. I don't get off on all that stuff. I had friends who made a lot of money and had to buy the latest, BMW or the fanciest car in the world. And I'm like, well, those are just really temporary, right? The car is a vehicle to get you from point A to point Z so you can do something. Socialize, go to dinner, meet with your family, run your business is nothing more than a means of transportation that's comfortable and safe. So why would I need to own a car if I could just click a button on my phone and have Cybercat pick me up and deliver me for less money than cost of owning a car? That's the part that people haven't quite figured out yet. So I can go out and spend $100,000 on a car, or whatever it costs, $50,000 on a car, and I got to insure it, and repair it, and run it, run it. Ends up costing me more than $1 a mile. Or maybe it costs you $4 a mile to run a car. I really don't know. And if I could just use, Cybercab for $1 a mile, why would I need to drive? It all becomes a function of the ego there. Okay, I want to go to my presentation instead of just yakking at it. I'm going to go over to my presentation and then I'm going to grow it up and do it full screen. Hey, I hope it looks okay for you. I believe it's fine. Yep. Cool. We got really good at doing this. Remember when I first started? So what's going on in 2026 as far as digital marketing? And I wanted to make this as practical as I could. And I was thinking about when I got into this back in 2002, heck, that was 24 years ago. I didn't know anything. I just researched websites, and I discovered this website called the Warrior Farm. That's what they were doing. And I started learning how to make money from that. And it was just little type of products that people were doing. And I created my first digital product called, what was it called? Secrets. God, I hate when my brain goes out. It was a book about using a press release to generate search engine rankings. It was called press release magics, I think is what I call it. And I wrote the book. I discovered ClickBank. And I didn't know anything about building an email list. I didn't know anything about this, that, and the other thing. I had to kind of struggle my way through creating a product and getting it on ClickBank. And then I was also doing my affiliate marketing and my guitar stuff at the time. So I understood how affiliate marketing worked because I just had products on a web page that was a blog that were getting traffic because it was a blog. And when I sold my guitar business, I maintained one domain and just found an affiliate product line. And I grabbed those products and put them on my blog, which had built up over the years, and ultimately was generating a lot of money through affiliate marketing in a very short period of time after shutting down my guitar business. I was making more money as an affiliate than I ever did selling the guitars to begin with. So that's how I got excited about the business. But things were so different then. SEO was the primary way of marketing. I was using Overture ads, which was the precursor to AdSense or AdWords. And the beginning of AdSense was coming along, and I learned how to do that. And I ended up making lots of money with all these different techniques. But that was back in 2002. So here we are, a quarter of a century later, and what's going on? So that's what this book's about. So digital marketing is what they call it. It's basically a system. It's not a one-step thing. And it goes through there are many parts in a system. When I first started I put a sales letter up for ClickBank, and I had a buy now button and a thank you page. That was it. I didn't have a protected thank you page. Anyone could go to it and download the training that I had. But I did it, and I think I made $100,000. And I was like, oh my God, that's all the money in the world. At that point, I was already fairly well off. But now I'm just goofing around. I'm talking about Press Release Magic was the name of the product. And a lot of people bought it. A lot of people loved it. My first sales came from the Warrior Plus. And I finally went on Warrior Plus and I got a great product. The sales letter's great. Why isn't it selling? And it wasn't that the fact that I had the product on ClickBank was important, nor was it the fact that my sales letter wasn't good. My problem is I didn't have any affiliates. So then I had to learn how you recruit and motivate affiliates. I eventually got good at it in a team format. And in 2010, I launched a product called Massive Passive Profits, the first one. And that product made me about $7 million. So we got very good. But nowadays, it's changed even more. So you got to look at a bunch of different things. You got to get people's eyes first. So that's the advertising. Okay, so this is the sandwich board is the description of what that is. Okay. So you got to get people to see you. This is things like paid ads, commercials, email marketing, billboards, all that stuff to get people to see that you have something for sale. Okay. Then they go to a sales letter. And you have to get to the sales letter and build a relationship. Maybe you have an email involved in there. You set up some sort of nurturing content, or build a community, or tout your customer service. And before long, you get an order. Now the problem with internet marketing nowadays, today, the way people teach it is they teach the left side: advertise, get order. I made a lot of money by not doing that. I'd advertise and I'd get a customer, not an order. I could care less about an order. I wanted a customer. Because once a customer gets into your environment and your culture, you can bring them along and sell them a lot of additional products. So I spend $1 to make $1.10. That's just the advertising. But when you bring them into the system and you nurture them and you convince them you're a good guy, it goes from $1.10 to $1.50. So creating that environment's the next step. Okay, here are the 8 pillars of the digital marketing system. Some of this stuff is new. When I first started out, it was all SEO. That's all we do. Okay. SEO was, if your page has the word Fender guitar one more time than someone else's page, you got the traffic because you were more relevant. It was really stupid because we would literally open up, have a sales page with the word Fender guitar, whatever model, 50 times, hidden in the same color as the background. So you see a picture, Fender guitar, and a lot of white space. Well, that white space was really full of the word Fender guitar. So we just figured out how many times we needed to make it do its thing, and we would get to business. It worked. It's 2004, 2005. But along came the backlink. And Google started making changes to their algorithm. And everything we'd done come 2005, prior to that point in time, was out the window. Couldn't do it. Had to do it a different way. So I was using SEO to sell guitars and that kind of stuff. I sold the business. And so how do I sell my digital products? Well, the first thing I understood is you had to have a sales letter, you needed affiliates, okay, and you need content, something to motivate people to promote for you, teach them, become a good guy with the customer base, so they can see, oh, look, he's teaching me how to do these things, and I value that, and I like this guy. This is where Frank Kern had this triangle trust thing came out. It came out a little later on with email marketing, but at the end of the day, all these things work together. So you got the content, okay? So you get the affiliate marketing. What affiliates do is they're basically endorsing your product. And this is where a lot of people miss out on affiliate marketing because they bought into that I have a list, I make money. Because a lot of guys are saying $1 per list member per month is what you will make. Okay. Real cool. But affiliates needed to have a relationship with those list members. We're going to get into that in a little bit here. And back in the 2000s, even the early 2010s, we did do that. I would send my list members a brand new piece of software and say, hey, this is yours for free, no strings attached, just, remember who gave it to you. And we're coming out with little plugins, and blogging was huge back then. All these things, and it gave us that relationship. That's that content. So then when we did drop an offer, they were more likely to buy from us. Then influencer marketing is really an offshoot of YouTube, which came about in late 2000s, and YouTube in the 2010s really began to grow in a big way, as did social media. So influencer marketing, which is difficult, became a very big thing. So if you go to YouTube and you watch Sam the Cooking Guy's new video on how to make food, he happens to be one of my favorite YouTubers, okay? So I watch his show every week, and they're no longer videos or shows, and they're no longer Sam, it's Sam's channel. It's like TV. And YouTube has completely replaced TV for me, to the point where I use YouTube TV, of course. Not a big TV watcher, but I do like watching videos. And so Sam the Cooking Guy, or Guga, or any of these other big food channels are showing people how to cook food. Or barbecue, or fix the bike, or play a video game, which is huge. There are kids that are like not even in their teenage years making tons of money, teaching younger kids how to make money. They become what are called influencers. And so influencers are like, they're endorsing a product. Well, affiliates used to endorse products. This is why, as a product owner, I don't use my buyers list to promote solo ads, because a lot of guys go, well, I want to make money in my solo ad, send it to this sales letter. I'm like, I'll help you build a list, but I'm not going to send my buyers to your sales letter, because it looks like I'm saying, hey, this is a good product, buy from. I'm not going to endorse whatever stupid biz op you want to sell, because I'm still trying to maintain that relationship. I have a separate list for solo ads. I got none of my buyers on there. and you're involved in Udemy and you see these sales numbers, it's all bullshit. It really is. Great place to grow a list. And there's value, lots of value in that list, if you know how to do it. And most people don't. But you have your influencers and your affiliate marketers who really are endorsing products. So they're in essence influencer, and you got your social media. Okay. And a lot of content needs to happen for that social media stuff. So if you're creating YouTube videos, yeah, if you're a few years ago, TikTok became a big thing. And I kind of ignored it at first. I was an email marketing guy. Well, I wasn't necessarily right. I got about 5,000 TikTok followers now. I can generate clicks from my TikTok videos. And there are literally people who use TikTok and Instagram, which makes them popular. So they become an influencer and they generate business from that. Okay. Another thing that's still important today is pay-per-click advertising. Pay-per-click advertising is used to build influencers. It's used to build bigger social media. It's used to build email lists. All these things kind of swirl around your metrics. You need to know where the sales are coming from. Are they coming from SEO? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from pay-per-click or influencers? It really is now. When I first started, we had put more copies of the search engine word on a page and you made money. And then it went to, okay, so we need to find affiliates and they need to know a little bit of email marketing. And I got to put a little content out. Well, then I had to become a superstar and have a social media presence and become an influencer and get really good at pay-per-click. So it went from really simple, what we did 24 years ago, to what it is today. So in essence, to be really successful online, you need to develop all this stuff. I went and looked at a ClickBank product today because I've done a lot with Aware Plus, and I wrote code to create my own affiliate network, and then I thought, why am I doing that? So I'm going to ultimately put all my products in ClickBank because it's the most reliable system out there. And they have hundreds of thousands of affiliates, and their affiliates know how to market better than other areas. You go to Warrior Plus, you get a guy who bought a course on, who go, can I promote your product? I got 1,500 Twitter followers or X followers, and I'll promote it to them. Have you ever made a penny off of Twitter? I have. Not much. They're not, I think I got 8,000 or 9,000 followers. My old Twitter account, I was like 90,000. I got banned because I was doing black hat stuff. I've been banned on pretty much from the black hat SEO, black hat social media. I don't have a Facebook account. And spam, black hat email stuff, and pay-per-click. So you get banned if you try to trick things. So the thing to do is play with it right. Now, the most important one of all this ecosystem, to me, is email marketing. I have a friend who back in 2014, we went to go see a Bad Company, sale, and we went to that show together, and he was all excited because he was doing pay-per-click advertising on ClickBank, and I had tried doing it. I couldn't make any money out of it. And I said, it just doesn't work for me. Good luck. And within 6 months, he's like, hey, Bill, I'm making a mint. I said, how? He goes, well, I'm advertising weight loss products from ClickBank on Facebook. So what's Mint? He goes, I'm going to make $30 million. Just, well, that's Mint. I'm like, can you show me how to do that? He goes, yeah, I'm going to sell a course. Why don't you buy it? I'm like, okay. The course comes out for $10,000. I decided not to buy it. Uh, Chatted with him a few months ago. I go, you still doing the pay-per-click advertising? He goes, nah, I made so much money I quit. I didn't need any more. I'm living in Bali. You live like a king here with $50 million. And you can. You live like a king in Bali with $50,000. Uh, so he's there. He's got his little Asian wife and got a little Asian kid. And he lives in the tropical rainforest on the beach. Really happy for the guy. He's happy. Well, we got cancer. And I said, hey, tumor. He beat the cancer. I had cancer too. And it was like, yeah, you can absolutely beat it if you do certain things. So we're both survivors of that disease. And he's happy. He says, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm retired. He says, well, how did you do it? I said, well, I did really good. I mean, I made a lot of money over the years. And then he told me what he made. I said, well, I didn't make as much as you. You live in like King Tut, and you got your kids' college paid for, and you own homes. And he goes, well, Bill, the thing is I didn't want to spend the money on my lifestyle. You're smart. If you're making money, don't piss it away. Okay. So this is how it works. You got to get eyes on the prize. Now that's SEO blogs, social media, TikTok, Reels, and podcast. Oh my God, these podcast guys are doing extremely well. You got to get people to consider what you're trying to sell. So you need to provide them information, do things like webinars, work with other people in the space, influencers, and provide them a lot of content. So they're going to start thinking about, should I invest into this guy? Okay. And it comes down to the decision-making process. Do they have video demos, interactive guides, customer testimonials? Are using retargeting ads? So you go from like the one-word SEO page, like I was talking about, to a highly involved conversion process after you get past the consideration phase. It doesn't matter if you're selling a $7 product or a $7,000 product or a $70,000 product. It needs to go through the same thing. But most internet marketers want people to buy their biz off because they don't want to have to go through this stuff. They just want to send emails and have people buy. That is a friggin' disaster. It does happen, but when you really get in behind the doors to find out who's making it and why they're making it, you'll find out the guys who are making it are the ones that put in the whole system, not just shoot a blind email off to somebody. Last year, we launched a product called AI Traffic Oil. One of the product components was talking about using answer engine optimization. So answer engine is like realizing that really Google, which is now Gemini, is part of Gemini. Gemini is part of Google, as well as ChatGPT, Claude. All of the AIs are really big, giant search engines in a way. Because in essence, what AI does is the same thing Google's been doing for 20 years. It goes out and crawls around and gathers bits and pieces of information from everybody's everything else, and then the difference is it can predict what you're going to want by your behavior. And when I say it predicts based on your behavior, someone's trying to send me a message over. It literally does. You can go to, because Google was the original AI, because they're managing big databases, and you'd be searching for something, right? And you would say, hey, Bill's searching for this Fender guitar. And then you would go somewhere else and you'd see that Fender guitar there. Well, they call that retargeting, but really it's AI. Okay. And they also realize the more often you see the picture of that guitar, the more likely you're going to get to the consideration phase that I was sharing with you earlier. And if you do that, you're more likely to make a purchase. So that was the AEO aspect. The GEO is basically AEO for local markets. GEO is like, okay, you own a restaurant and people can find you in the search engine results, but you're going to look at Yelp, you can look at Google ratings, and you're going to look at referrals, reviews. Like I'm going to go to dinner tonight. I decided before coming in here. I went this morning and had a really good workout. Came home, cleaned up, been taking care of my dogs all day, working on a few things, including this presentation. And all I had to eat all day long was a piece of chicken, which is typical for me. I'm a diabetic, so I eat a very high protein diet. So where am I going to go tonight? So maybe I want to go get like a sushi. It's high protein. So what I'll do is I'll go to Yelp. This is the GEO stuff. And I'll go sushi. And I'll see a dozen sushi restaurants. And I'll look at the reviews. And one with the best reviews is where I'm going to go. I don't even look at the price. Now you might say, well, you can afford it. Well, no, I just, a good meal is worth an investment. I'm not going to cry about spending $50 on dinner instead of $10 if I had a good, pleasurable evening with good food, a good conversation. It's, why would I worry about a little bit of money? The fact is, that is GEO. And we use it all the time. When you go to Google and you search for a restaurant, there'll be like a list of them, and they'll have like their map location, and then Google's map will list them out, and you can go to them. You'll see the reviews right on Google. 5-star, best Chinese food in town. And do you look at those things before you? Yeah. Because even if you're going to go somewhere that's less expensive, you don't want to walk out of there with food poisoning. So the reviews are important. That's what GEO does for you. AEO is just getting your content sucked up by answer engine, by all the AIs. So we had created our AEO system with the massive passive AI. And since then, we've amalgamated it into one system called AI Traffic Secrets, which is both SEO and AEO. And if you include it in your listings, it can be GEO too, but it kind of solves both with one plugin. I talked a little bit about Black Hat and SEO and stuff like that. So I might as well confess things. White Hat. It's a high quality content. It's got a logical site architecture that makes sense to the search engine. Uh, it's accessibility focused and well developed. You go to a shoddy website where you can't find content and you don't enjoy reading it because it's written poorly, you don't go to it. So, first one, you need that first tactic. But back when we were doing Black Hat, it was all hidden text, link farms, spam decks, keyword stuffing. That's what we started doing to begin with. Keyword stuffing worked. I had friends that were affiliates for Viagra back in the 2000s that were just spitting out these huge web blog farms. And they were just stuffing keywords and it was automatically generating. And Google was indexing and sending them $10,000 a day in affiliate money. Google got fed up with that and they started coming out with systems to stop that. So you can go do that now, you won't make a single penny. The other thing that's regular SEO is all about, the users are first. And everything within that structure conforms to search engine guidelines. So you're just like going, okay, I stick my website and then I add it to Google's page where they check it and they make sure that what's getting indexed and not indexed, is it conforming or not? Versus the old Black Hat days where we would just spit out content. And really we were finding new ways to game the algorithms. And this is where we made a lot of money with AdSense. Oh God. I mean, it was like taking money from, like taking candy from kids when I was in my 2009 through 2012. You wouldn't believe how much money we made with AdSense because we kind of did the SEO thing, Black Hat stuff. We got AdSense ads on it. Well, AdSense finally got fed up with that. And you got to really work hard to get your account approved for AdSense. The ones I have now are really good sites, and I don't tempt it, and I make a passive income from it, but I don't Black Hat at all. So right now on the right hand side, I've been kind of guilty. You know, when you get into white hat, you can do it right, do it slow, do it steady. It's going to work for a long term. You're not going to like I was talking about the Viagra affiliates. They would be making 10,000 a week and they're buying caviar and flying jets. And I mean, it was stupid money. And if you're young and you got stupid money, you do stupid things with it. It was literally a cocaine and caviar and champagne environment. I didn't do any of that stuff, but I had friends who did. Because as soon as those, if you're doing Black Hat SEO, it's really high risk. And Google will ban your website. They will blacklist your domain name and remove your content. Germany is particularly tough on that. Good for all those guys. This Black Hat stuff, we were cool because we were young and just kind of spinning our. We were outsmarting Google, which is not a good idea. So the problem you get with people buying software and tools is they don't really ever really utilize them, or they buy really they buy the hype and the software really doesn't do what they say it does. Mine does, by the way. So you're wasting tons of time. This is why a lot of marketers give up. Trying this tool. I used to buy every stinking SEO tool that came out. Remember, nuclear SEO was the greatest thing in the world. I spent $497 a month. I think I quickly got de-indexed and I quit. Not wasted money, wasted time. Uh, then, there are a lot of marketers that have 8 or 9 different tools and they're trying to use them all. Uh, my website, AI Traffic Secrets, or um, Massive Paths of AI, they're automated. You set them up once, they continue to go on. But if you're going to have to do like a particular step every week, well, I need to do this, I need to do that, and people won't do it, and it never happens. So the right tool isn't going to fix the broken strategy, but the wrong tool is going to just waste time and money. So get tools that work. Um, well, let's just look at some of the costs of this stuff. If you're doing SEO today, you have to do, you got to use like Ahref to make sure your stuff's getting indexed. SEMrush for things like being able to figure out if your pay-per-click campaigns are working right. And then you have to use the Google Search Console, which is what I described earlier. This is how you make sure your content's being indexed. And if it's not being indexed, it will tell you. It will say poor quality content. Well, poor quality content, go look at your content. If it looks a little funny, you'll know why you're getting that ranking. Well, AI content stuff isn't free either. ChatGPT is $20 a month. Surfer, I don't use it. It's an NLP program. It will score your content publishing. I don't know if it's any good or not. Canva, I use that. BuzzSumo, which is more like a content research program. I don't use that either, but you can spend a lot of money on generating free content. Even though you don't even have to write good. You can use ChatGPT and other tools to do the writing for you. Oops. I'm sorry. So this talks about how to kind of build your budget as you get better, as you grow in your marketing system. First, you start off cheap. Google Analytics, Search Console, free Canva, and you can even use MailChimp free. MailChimp's the worst. You go use GetResponse free. Then you start growing it up. You get things like Buffer, ActiveCampaign, Trello, so you can increase the way you communicate. Then you step up to your Pro Stack, which is like SEMrush, Hootsuite, HubSpot, and Slack. Probably these things are like expensive. And then you go full enterprise, and you're doing things like Sprout Social and HubSpot Professional and ClickUp, and the more expensive version is Zapier. These are building up depending on the sort of money you're making. This is really enterprise level. This is where most of us are, I'd say, maybe at this level. I don't use any of these tools. I don't use any of these tools. I use the versions of these tools here. And I have a pretty expensive budget for AI costs every month. So your features and benefits stuff, how does that work? What's the translation from one to the other? First of all, you look at what it does. A 10-step automatic email sequence, NLP-based SEO keyword optimization. NLP means neuro-linguistic programming. And I haven't even thought about creating an AI to do that. Just goes into the system, and you have your outputs. You focus on outcomes and results. You make one sale while you sleep. You dominate AI search engine and get the answers. So these things kind of come in, our process is going around. And no matter how you show people stuff, it can do this, it can do that, it can do that. It's all going to fail. Every bit of it's going to fail if you're selling that. If your messaging is here on features, that's going to fail. You've got to have the benefits. So I am marketing tool, something I'm going to launch soon. It's basically an AI influencer. The benefit is that you don't have to be on camera, and you can build an influencer marketing around your persona or your avatar, and that you can use that to promote whatever products you want to do. All you got to do is stick with it. And it works. It works really well, actually. It's all AI. So, okay, here's the features. It's AI. We've got a system that creates the content for you. And we have a way of taking an avatar and generating a video. The benefit is, as you build videos, you create your own audience and you build your own trust, and you can make money on it. So you can become like your own, who's your big influence marketers out there? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Courtney, the Kardashians. That's the sort of stuff you can do with what we're coming out. So here's your benefits. Okay. People are attracted to your features. They buy for your benefits. So kind of putting this all together, this is probably a little too much. To amplify strategy, get the strategy right first. So one of the things you might want to do is be an influencer marketing. Okay, so I want to influence people to buy. And I decided to do that with Instagram. And I want to use Instagram Reels. It's a very effective tool. I don't use it. Probably want to use it a lot. But at this point in time, I don't. And maybe that's going to change because I got my own AI influencer program, right? So pick your strategy. Then blow it up. So all I need to do my AI influencer thing is I got to have an AI traffic tool because it will create the script and teach you how to build the videos and show you how to build the videos so that you have an avatar that's talking on screen that isn't you. These things are really unbelievable good. I have avatar videos of myself up all over the place. As a matter of fact, I could actually create an entire streaming video and have it play for you guys instead of actually doing it. And probably you'd enjoy it better because it'd be more coherent. But that is the strategy that we're going to do. Well, it's really the end of the presentation. I want to tell you, I wish it wasn't as complicated as it used to. It was easy 20 years ago. Even email marketing, it was like 2006. I was trying to figure this email marketing thing out. And a good friend of mine by the name of Willie Crawford had a little $6 ebook he was selling about how to grow an email list. This is the first time I ever bought anything from Willie. And since I've gotten to know him over the years, I've told him, this book has made me millions of dollars. Thank you. I paid him $6. I got the book. Buying the book didn't do anything. It taught me how to do what was called, they were doing joint venture giveaways. So you join a big group and we'd all give away software and all grow our list off of it. And you could make money on it. So I started doing those type of product launches. I started doing giveaways using his recommendation. And I made some friends that were doing it, Green Nussbaum and some other guys. And so we, we're going crazy building these huge lists. And then I used that to launch my first big ClickBank product. Before Massive Pass products, I had a product called Marketing on the Fringe, which all I did was teach people how to use a program called WordPress Direct. That was my first 7-figure launch. And the guy who developed the software had put on a live event, and he says, "Will you come talk to people how to use the system?" Because I was making $1 million a year off of it. And I just came out and said, "Yeah, I use your system. I build websites, and I sell the websites." And then I created a product to teach people to do it. And as an affiliate for his business, so not only was I making money selling products, I was his largest affiliate as well. And in 2010, I came out with a product called the Never Fail List Building System. And it was based on subdomains. And it was that process of doing those subdomains where I thought, well, can't you just create these subdomains automatically? And then I discovered wildcard domains, how to use that. And that led to Massive Passive Profits, which became a huge success. So one thing kind of builds on another. So you guys have a great week. We'll be back next week. I got a few questions here. I'll respond to them via email. Take care.